Hello everybody, I'm Vulture, and this is a 2-in-1 review about Sifu and its older brother, Absolver. However, I'm guessing you are here for the Sifu review, so let's do that first. So Sifu came out a number of days ago, and it is fantastic. It is a fighting game that is vaguely realistic in terms of fighting, and by that I mean everything that is performed by the main character could effectively be done IRL, and you could probably learn some fighting from this game if you really wanted to. I would advise against trying it though. Speaking of things that you can learn from Sifu, moral lessons. More on that later. You play as a character heck bent on revenge and goes on a fighting rampage or a warehouse, dance club, a museum, very expensive office building, and the ultimate spa. All of which I will try to spare the experience of, with exception of however much you see from my background gameplay. So I guess however long I take to review this determines how much of a liar I am. As far as the combat goes, it's very fun, though not the cleanest. I've noticed a couple of bugs in combat, but nothing major. Typically every hit that I've taken feels as though I was the one who made some form of mistake personally, rather than the "oh BS, I dodged that" of games like Dark Souls 2. So there are 6-ish enemy types. Goon Plus, they have more health and occasionally counter your finishers to become stronger. Juggernauts, or as I like to call them, Sumo Supremes. Dancers, unfortunately, the type of dancing they do is breakdancing. And what they break in their dance is you. Fighters. These are actual trained fighters and martial artists who can fight fairly well. I will admit they are probably the enemy who's killed me the most. Finally, there are the bodyguards. They combine a lot of what the other enemies do into one, and they do it well. The only sad part is they are easier than their big brothers, the Juggernaut, and are probably the second easiest enemy in the game, behind goons. So I am hoping they get a buff in the future. And on top of the 6-ish enemy types, there are bosses: Bajar, Sean, Kuroki, Jin Fang, and your boy, Yang the Airbender. Disclaimer, he does not actually bend air. Bajar is a fairly straightforward boss, great for learning the game and how to parry, dodge, and also to not die. He has great setup, great design in both aesthetic and combat. Overall feels very fair and fun to fight. Next up is Sean. He is extremely easy. If you learn how to dodge and don't overthink it, but if you aren't good at dodging, prepare for pain. Overall, probably my least favorite boss, but he does still have good setup. It's fun to fight, even if it is just because he's an easy fool. Plus, he indirectly causes you trouble in future missions, so overall, pretty good boss. Next up is Kuroki. She is fantastic. She takes the skills you acquired of dodging from Sean and ups the ante. Her second phase is a little easier, but it is a beautiful setup, beautiful arena, and a very good one. The museum is probably my favorite level, and Kuroki is a fantastic boss. Plus, there's an Absolver reference in this level, as well as the long-rumored Eurasian staff that we've waited so long for, so that's a plus. Then Jin Fang. Not the biggest fan of her first half of her level, but the second half gives me nostalgia, and fighting her is hard, as she has great range and damage, but appropriately small health. Plus, as a side note, it kind of seems like she uses Essence from Absolver. I could be wrong, that's just what it looks like to me. And finally, Yang. He can be a pain, but overall, I like his fight. It's a fight basically against yourself, but a better version of you, so it's almost as though you need to be better and grow beyond yourself in a sense. It's pretty cool. So, I mentioned moral lessons. This is where that comes in. I heard a quote recently: "If you are to seek a path of revenge, first dig 2 graves." Which is pretty stupid, as we killed a lot more than 2 people, but the basic moral being that you're dooming yourself alongside anyone that you are seeking revenge upon. Revenge will never lead to happiness, but instead, something that will lead to happiness is proving that you are truly above those who have wronged you, in one sense or another. Personally, I have sought revenge once, and it didn't exactly lead me to joy. It sent me on a better path, sure, but the event left me hollow for a long time, and if anything, angrier and sadder than I was before. So this game resonated with me on an emotional and personal level. I'm going to spoil something really minor, so if you do not want to hear it, skip to this time that's shown on screen. I will give you 5 seconds in case you had me alt-tabbed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In the museum level, you can get a sword. In Mission 1 and 2, your character never directly killed anyone other than the bosses, which made sense as they were the ones you were seeking revenge on. But in level 3, it's clear your character will kill any who stand in his way. It's gone beyond personal revenge. It's grown larger than that. Hi, welcome back to everyone who skipped. How are you? Good on you for not being spoiled. Overall, in terms of story, design, and combat in Sifu, it is wonderfully crafted, beautiful, and brutal. It has great music, level design, and lore, and is partially connected to Absolver, so that's pretty
How the fuck
cool.
you get in here?
My overall rating for this game? 9.5 out of 10. It is a masterpiece, in my opinion, and I can't wait to see where this game and company goes. Also, yes, to those who are curious, your skill in Absolver and Sifu are partially connected. If you're good in Sifu, you'll be as good in Absolver. If you were good in Absolver, you'll be good at Sifu. Not necessarily a one-to-one exchange, but there is some crossover there, so I thought that was pretty neat. At the very least, that's what I feel like. I could be technically wrong, but at the very least, getting better in Sifu has helped me get back into Absolver. Speaking of which, now I shall switch over and talk to Absolver, one of my favorite games of all time. Absolver is an extremely in-depth fighting game. It has its issues, examples being half of the story is locked behind PvP, it's not very exact with its lore or lessons. It's debatably more realistic in terms of fighting than Sifu, and like Sifu, every enemy demands your respect, no matter how big or small they may be. Do not show hesitation or leniency. It is easier than Sifu, but it's still a hard game with a fantastic story and lore. I absolutely adore this game, and I wish there was more of Absolver and its sword. But now we have Sifu and whatever they decide next. I miss Absolver, but I am grateful for Sifu. I can't do much of a review on Absolver since there isn't as much as I would like there to review, but I can tell you what there is. And what there is an extremely detailed combat system where you make your own combat deck and face others, a great story of the fall of many great nations, interesting magics, and a wonder of who is truly the bad guy in the story as a man who is mostly neutral. Like, Kuretz, the first boss, probably evil. The twins seem pretty neutral. Rizrin, the final boss, debatably good. I mean, it's not hard to debate that she is evil, but you could debate that she's good. And then there's the 3 bosses of Downfall, which are pretty much just, yeah, evil. The thing I wonder is, was the guy we were helping in Downfall truly a good guy? And Arcel is technically immortal. Kind of a story that leaves questioning of authority and self. Who is good? Why do I fight when both me and my opponents are immortal? Stuff like that. My overall personal rating for Absolver is a 7.5 out of 10. It is absolutely stunning, complex, and fun. I miss it, I will miss it, but now we have Sifu, and I am happy. As this company grows, I hope you all do as well. Stay true, and thanks for watching. Bye Sifu, y'all, it's worth it!